There was a time when I believed something was wrong with me. I didn't know exactly when that belief started. It didn't arrive loudly or suddenly. It came quietly, through small moments. Moments when I felt tired for no clear reason. Moments when I smiled, but felt empty inside. Moments when I looked at other people's lives and wondered why. Everything seemed easier for them. Every morning, I woke up and did what I was supposed to do. I went to work, I answered messages, I fulfilled responsibilities. From the outside, my life looked fine. But inside, there was a constant heaviness, like carrying an invisible weight on my chest. I told myself to be stronger. I told myself to be grateful. I told myself that others had it worse, so I had no right to feel this way. But the heaviness didn't leave. Instead, it grew. Until one quiet evening, sitting alone in a dimly lit room, I finally admitted something I had been avoiding for a long time. I was exhausted, not physically, but emotionally. That was the first honest moment. And strangely, it was also the beginning of healing. Learning to sit with the silence. For a long time, I tried to escape silence. I filled my days with noise music, playing in the background, endless scrolling on my phone, conversations that stayed on the surface. Silence felt uncomfortable because it forced me to hear my own thoughts. But healing doesn't happen in noise. One night, I turned everything off. No phone, no music, just me and the quiet. At first, my thoughts were chaotic. Regrets, worries, fears, they all rushed in at once, demanding attention. I wanted to run away again, but instead I stayed. And something unexpected happened. As the minutes passed, the thoughts softened. The noise in my mind slowly settled. Beneath the chaos, I found something gentle, a tired heart that simply wanted to be understood. That night, I learned an important lesson. Silence is not empty. It is where truth lives. When you stop fighting yourself. For years, I treated myself like a project that needed fixing. I criticized my mistakes. I compared my progress to others. I believed that being hard on myself would make me better. It didn't. It only made me smaller. One day, after another long and draining week, I looked at myself in the mirror and asked a simple question. If someone I loved felt this way, how would I treat them? The answer was clear. I wouldn't rush them. I wouldn't judge them. I wouldn't tell them to try harder. I would listen. I would be gentle. I would tell them it's okay to rest. So I tried something new. I treated myself the way I treated others. That was the day I stopped fighting myself and started standing beside myself instead. The power of small, ordinary moments. I used to think change had to be dramatic. I thought healing would arrive as a sudden breakthrough, a moment where everything finally made sense. But real change came quietly. It came in small moments. Making my bed in the morning, not because I had to, but because it gave me a sense of order. Drinking a glass of water slowly, paying attention instead of rushing. Walking outside and noticing the sky, the wind, the way sunlight touched the trees. These moments didn't fix everything, but they reminded me that life wasn't only made of big achievements or painful failures. It was also made of ordinary moments that asked nothing from me except presence. Slowly, those moments began to feel like anchors, grounding me when my thoughts drifted too far into worry, allowing sadness without shame. There was a time when I believed sadness was something to overcome as quickly as possible. I thought strong people didn't feel sad for long. I was wrong. One afternoon, after holding everything together for weeks, I finally let myself cry. Not quietly, not politely. I cried the way a tired child cries without explanation, without apology. And I didn't feel weaker afterward. I felt lighter. Sadness, I realized, wasn't my enemy. It was a signal, a sign that something inside me needed care. When I stopped pushing it away, it stopped hurting so much. Sometimes healing begins not when sadness disappears, but when we allow it to exist without shame, letting go of other people's timelines. Comparison was one of the biggest thieves of my peace. I measured my life against milestones I saw online. I judged my progress based on where others seemed to be. I asked myself questions that never had kind answers. Why am I not there yet? Why am I so slow? Why does everyone else seem to know what they're doing? One day, I realized something simple but powerful. Everyone is walking a different path, carrying different wounds, learning different lessons. My timeline was not late. My pace was not wrong. My journey was not a mistake. The moment I stopped racing against others, I finally had enough energy to walk forward in my own way. Rest is not a reward. I used to believe rest had to be earned. I told myself I could rest after I finished everything, after I became better, after I reached some invisible standard. That day never came. So one evening, instead of pushing myself again, I chose rest without justification. I slept early. I said no when I needed to. I allowed myself to do nothing, and the world didn't fall apart. What fell apart was the belief that my worth depended on constant effort. Rest didn't make me lazy, it made me human again, finding light in unexpected places. Positive energy didn't come to me as constant happiness. It came as quiet resilience. It came from surviving days I once thought would break me, learning from mistakes instead of hating myself for them, choosing hope even when certainty was impossible. Over time, I noticed something gentle growing inside me, not excitement, not constant joy, but a calm belief that I could handle whatever came next. That belief became my light. Not loud, not perfect, but steady. You are already enough. If you are reading this and feeling tired, uncertain, or lost, I want you to know something important. You do not need to become someone else to deserve peace. You do not need to fix everything to be worthy of rest. You do not need to rush your healing. There is a quiet light inside. You one that has survived every hard day you've already lived through. It doesn't ask you to be perfect. It only asks you to keep going gently, one breath at a time, one step at a time, one kind moment at a time, and that is enough.